Very warm welcome to all the students. Today in this lecture we are going to know what is a parse tree or derivation tree, okay, and the concepts like how to derive a string from the grammar and what is ambiguity in the grammar. Now before we begin, we have already seen what is the meaning of derivation of a string from a grammar. In our previous two lectures that we have seen, where we were solving problems given a language, we were designing a context-free grammar. There, after designing the grammar, we were checking whether the grammar is correct or not. So for that, we used to take some sample string, and we used to say that from the start symbol, after doing the replacement, if I am able to get that string, I say that string is belonging to the language, to the grammar, or the string is rejected, right? So that's basically the mechanism called as derivation of the string. So derivation is the mechanism used to prove that a given string, it belongs to the language represented by the grammar. Now there are two types of derivations. There is something called as top-down derivation, there is something called as bottom-up derivation. Now in the method that we saw in the previous lectures where we were solving problems, you must have seen that I said you should start with the start symbol. You should always start with the start symbol, okay, and then for each step, after replacing the left hand side non-terminal with its right hand side and going on doing this, okay, if I am able to reach to the original string which is given for us to examine, okay, from the start symbol, after doing the subsequent replacement, if I am able to get the string, the original string that is given as input for us to check whether it is valid or no, if I am able to reach out to that string, only then I say that the string is accepted, right? So this kind of mechanism where you start from the start symbol and then in subsequent steps, every time when you have productions of the type left hand side giving right hand side, every time the left hand side element was being replaced with the right hand side, and we were repeating this process till all the non-terminals are exhausted and we get the original string back. This approach is called as top-down design or top-down approach. Why? Because it starts with the highest level in the grammar, and what is highest level in the grammar? It's a start symbol. It's a non-terminal on the left hand side of a start production. So right from the highest level, I was trying to get to the lowest terminal level, that's a string. Okay, and if I am able to reach to that string, we say that the string is accepted. If I am not able to reach out to that string, that means the string is rejected. So this is called as top-down derivation. And the second mechanism to derive string, this is called as the slightly opposite of what we have done. This is called as bottom-up derivation. We start with the string itself, the terminal string itself. Then what we do at every step, right hand side is replaced with the left hand side, and in this process, if we are able to reach to the start symbol when there is nothing else remaining to be read in the input string, that time we can say that the string is accepted. So this is bottom-up approach. So there are two types of derivations. Okay, so we start with the top-down derivation. So as I have told you, it begins with the start symbol. A non-terminal, say n, is replaced by the right hand side of its production. So a non-terminal, say n, is replaced with the right hand side of its production, okay, for which n is the left hand side. And then step 2 is repeated. So this replacement is repeated for n number of steps, okay, till all the non-terminals are replaced. And after doing all this, if we are getting the original string back, then we say string is accepted. Otherwise we say the string is rejected. That's basically a top-down derivation. Now just to make it more clear, I have taken an example. You consider this grammar. The grammar is very simple. There is one non-terminal, that is E. The terminals in the grammar are A, B, plus and minus. Remember, I told you that anything except capital alphabet is always considered as a terminal. So plus, minus are also terminal. Then start symbol is E, and this is a production. E gives A or E plus E or E into E or B or E. Okay. So just for just for using it, I'm just writing this given production here. So I will solve. What I am going to do, I am going to derive the string using top-down derivation, and then we will see whether the string is accepted or rejected. Okay, that means whether this string is valid or not. Okay, now what is given to us? We are given production. Okay, E gives, I will just write E plus E or E into E or E or A or B. This is the production that is given in the grammar, and we have to derive, we are supposed to derive which string? A into B plus A. This string we have to derive. So how do we start? In top down derivation, we start with the start symbol E. Now, so E is the left hand side, so we can replace E with either E plus E, E into E, E, A or B. Okay, now you see this particular string, here there is A into B, there is a multiplication sign here. So what I will do is I will try to replace E with E into E, so that multiplication sign comes. Okay, so I replace E with E into E. Okay, now but the string also involves a plus sign, so after into there is also a plus sign, right? So what I will do is I will try to replace this E, I will try to expand this E with E plus E. I will try to expand this E with E plus E, because I want plus. Plus is also there. So I will replace this E with E plus E. Plus E. So now, I have got three non-terminals of variables which are actually placeholders to hold my terminals, small a, small b, small a. Also I have got into and plus sign. So I have got, you can say, the skeleton of the string that is required. Okay, now I have to see whether replacement can be done. So you consider the string, the first element of the string, it is small a. So I will try to replace this E, okay, with small a. So E can be replaced with small a. So I replace this E with small a into E plus E. So the string that I get is A into E plus E. So you see that in the string A into up to this we have already derived. Now next element that we have to get is B. So after A and into, I will try to replace this E with something and that is B, because I want B here. So I will replace this E with B. So what I get is A into B plus E. Now notice that in the string that we have taken, all this first terms except the last term we have already obtained. Now what is left is last A. What is left is this last A. So then I try to replace this E with A. So I replace this E with A. So the string that I get is A into B plus A. Okay, so this is called as derivation. Now what has happened at the end of the derivation? I started with the start symbol. Every time I replaced production, each non-terminal I try to replace with its right hand side, either this one or this one or this one or this one or this one. And finally I reached a point wherein all the non-terminals were exhausted. You see here there is no non-terminal. And after doing this, if we have obtained the given string, the input string given was A into B plus A, have you got that string back? Yes. That means this string belongs to the language whose grammar has this production. So we can say that we have derived successfully the string A into B plus A, and it is valid string. Okay. So this is something called as derivation of the string. Now one thing that you can note is, you see, now just see the replacement order. Now in here I tried to replace the rightmost non-terminal. Correct? This E was the rightmost non-terminal. So I tried to replace, okay, the rightmost non-terminal with its value, that is E plus E. But in the next step, I did not go for the next rightmost, rather I went for the leftmost non-terminal too. So in the next step, I replaced the leftmost non-terminal with small a. Okay, so in the next step, I replace the leftmost non-terminal. Now in the third step, after replacing the leftmost non-terminal with A, then the next leftmost was replaced. Okay, second leftmost. Second leftmost non-terminal was replaced. After replacing this with B, then the third leftmost non-terminal. So you say that you have replaced the third leftmost non-terminal, which is also nothing but the rightmost non-terminal. So basically, based on the order of replacement. Now when I talk about order of replacement, order means what? Either from the leftmost go on replacing till you are reaching the rightmost element. That's called as leftmost replacement. Rightmost replacement is nothing but you start with the rightmost element, go on replacing the terms till you are able to reach the leftmost. So these are two replacements. But over here, in order to do the derivation, I have derived it in a mixed order. So in this here, I replace the rightmost non-terminal. Then here, I replace the leftmost non-terminal. Then here, the next leftmost. Here, the third leftmost, which was again rightmost. So leftmost and rightmost in a mixed order, right? However, this was in general just to show you how to derive a string. However, in ALC, whenever we talk about the context-free grammars, the top-down derivation that we have just seen, it is basically classified into two types based on a particular order of replacement. So either you have something called as leftmost derivation, wherein the very first thing what you need to do is whichever is the leftmost non-terminal, you replace that. Then the next leftmost replace. Then the next leftmost you replace and go on replacing till you reach the rightmost point. That's called as leftmost derivation. Rightmost derivation is ulta. That means you start replacing the rightmost element, non-terminal, then the next rightmost, then the next rightmost, and go on doing that till you reach the leftmost side. So either you can do the derivation only in the leftmost manner or only in the rightmost manner. What I have done here is in a mixed order. So just to show you, okay. So now we will define it in a better way, okay. So what is leftmost derivation? Leftmost derivation is the one wherein the leftmost non-terminal is replaced by its right hand side of a production whose left hand side is a non-terminal that is being replaced. Just for an example, okay, again I want to derive the string A into B plus A, and the productions that we were given, I will take the same production, okay, and my aim is to get A into B plus A. I want to get this string A into B plus A. Okay, so what I will do is I will now show you how to derive it in a leftmost derivation way. So I start with E as usual. I start with the start symbol, that is E. Next, since I will use the same method, since I want A into B, okay, since multiplication term should be there, A into B, I will replace E with E into E. Okay, so I will replace E with E into E. Correct? So now, which is the leftmost element? This is the leftmost element. So compulsorily the leftmost element has to be replaced first. Only then you go to the next leftmost element. That's leftmost derivation. Next, what I will do is, since this E has to be replaced, now what is the term that I want? See, the first element here should be A. So basically it is A into B plus A, no? So the first term here should be A. So I try to replace E with what? I try to replace E with A. So that's how this can be further written as A into E. Now after successfully replacing the leftmost element, leftmost non-terminal here with A, which is the next leftmost element, this E should be the next leftmost element. Okay, so this I have to now replace. Replace with what? Now see, multiplication term is included, but what I want next is the plus sign, right? So what I will do, this E will be replaced with the term called as E plus E, so that plus comes into picture. So I will replace this E, that's the next leftmost element. In my case now, the next leftmost is also the rightmost now. The next leftmost element, I replace it with E plus E, or I expand it with E plus E. I replace E with E plus E. So then this will become A into E is expanded as E plus E. Okay. Now you consider this term. Which is the next leftmost element? Now you can't say that this is the next leftmost element. Why? Because E is still a non-terminal. Here there is still a non-terminal. This has not been eliminated. Only when a particular non-terminal is eliminated, I mean it's replaced, only then you go for the next one, right? So which is the next leftmost element to be replaced now? This E, right? So what I want next? I have already got A, I have got into, what I want next is B. So this E, I will replace it with B. What I get here is A into B plus E, right? So now which is the next leftmost element which is to be replaced? This is the next leftmost element to be replaced. What I want is after plus, I want only one A. So far these many terms, all these are, we have already obtained. What I want is A. So this last E, I will replace it with A. A into B plus E is replaced with A. So have I got my string? Yes. So this is called as leftmost derivation. Now you will observe that there is another alternative. So this I will call as alternative 1. Alternative 1. There is also another alternative for leftmost derivation in my case here. What is another alternative? As usual, I start with E. As usual, I will start with E. Okay, but this time what I will do? Now see here, the string which is given to me is what? A into B plus A, no? The string that is given to me is A into B plus A. So I will start, I will again leftmost only, I will try to get this. So I will first replace what I will, earlier in this I replaced E with E into A. Now I will replace E with E plus E. Okay. So I replace E with E plus E. Now which is the leftmost element? This is the leftmost element. But you observe that this E plus E is the term which is analogous to this term, B plus A. But before plus, there is also a multiplication sign that should come. So that's why I will now replace this E with E into E. I will expand this E with E into E, so that this multiplication term is now also included. So this can be further written as this E which is there, I will now expand it with E into E. Okay, so this will look like E into E plus E. Then, which is the next leftmost element to be replaced? This E is still there, non-terminal is still there. So this is the next leftmost element. Now what I want first? I want A first. I want A first. So I will replace E with A. So I get A here. So this will look like A into E plus E. Then this is the next leftmost element to be replaced. So A into, what I want next is B, because the next element here is B. So I will replace E with B. E can be replaced with B. So what I get here is B plus E. And now this is the last leftmost element. So A into B plus E is replaced with A. So now because there was a multiplication and addition, both were there, there are two alternatives. Both are leftmost derivation because the replacement Replacement, when I say it means what? It is actually elimination of a non-terminal. Replacement is occurring from left to right. Once the leftmost non-terminal is eliminated, then the next leftmost we are trying to eliminate here. Then the next leftmost. Here also it is leftmost only, but I am doing it in a different way. Here E into E I had considered, here E plus E I had considered. So this is basically the leftmost derivation. Now rightmost derivation is the one wherein, now what we have done is leftmost. Here the rightmost non-terminal is replaced by right hand side of the production, whose left hand side is a non-terminal that is being replaced. Again with the same example and the same string, okay, I can start with E. Okay, again alternative 1. Alternative 1 for rightmost derivation. I start with E, correct? Then since multiplication is there, I will replace E with E into E. Since it is rightmost derivation, the rightmost element has to be replaced. Okay, so I will expand this E. I will expand this E with E plus E. Correct? Why? Because after multiplication there is a plus which is required. Now which is the rightmost element? This is the rightmost element. So I try to eliminate that. That means replace that. So what I want, the last element should be A. So what I will do, I will replace that last E with A. So you get the string that we are supposed to get is this one. So I have already obtained the last and the second last element, that is plus A. Then this is the next rightmost element. So this can be replaced with, what I want is B. So E into B plus A. What I have done is E I have replaced with B. So that I get, here I get till this term, and even into is included. And finally what is the next rightmost element is this. So this can be finally replaced with A. So what I get is A into B plus A. So this is the rightmost derivation, as you can easily see. Okay. Now there is also a second alternative for rightmost derivation also here. What is that second alternative? You started with E plus E, now start with E. Sorry, you started with E into E, now start with E plus E. Try to do the replacement of the rightmost element T. What I want is A. Okay, so I replace E with A. So what I get here is E plus A. Okay, now this is the next rightmost element, but what is required is multiplication factor is required. So this can be further written as, expanded as E into E plus A. So which is the next rightmost element? This has to be the next rightmost element. Correct? So then try to replace or eliminate that rightmost element. What I want is B. So I replace E with B. This is the next rightmost element. So I replace E with A. So this is the rightmost derivation. Okay. So this is something called as leftmost and rightmost derivation. Now coming to the next concept, a very important concept called as parse tree. A parse tree structure is used to represent the top-down derivation. So whatever derivation that we have done in textual, parse tree is just a graphical representation of the same thing. Now roots of this tree or the root node of this tree is the start symbol of the grammar. The interior nodes of the tree, the internal nodes which are there, they are the non-terminals of the grammar, and the leaf nodes are nothing but the terminals of the grammar. So just an example, we are supposed to draw parse tree for A into A plus B from the previous example, right? Now in the previous example, the production P of the grammar was E gives E plus E or E into E or in bracket E or A or B. This was the production. The string that we are going to derive is of course it is A into A plus B. Now the rightmost derivation, let's consider RMD stands for rightmost derivation. Rightmost derivation if I start with E, one of the rightmost derivations I will write because we already know it. I start from E into E. So then this E is replaced. What I will get is E into E plus E. So this is the rightmost element that is to be replaced. So then so this E will be replaced with B, because what I want in the current case is B, A into A plus B, the last element should be B. So what I get here is E into E, and the last E I replace it with B because I want B. Then the next rightmost element will be this. So then what I want is A, so this will be replaced as E into A plus B, and finally this is the next rightmost element. What I want is A, so this will become A into A plus B. So this is the rightmost derivation. So how to start with the parse tree for this? What we did, same thing we are going to do graphically. So let us now draw the parse tree for the rightmost derivation. Okay, as we have already seen, the root node of the tree is the start symbol. In my case, E is the start symbol, so that's a root node. Now E was expanded as E into E. So E is expanded as E into E. Further, this rightmost E was further expanded as E plus E. So rightmost E, that is this one, is expanded as E plus, don't forget these arrows, E plus E. Okay, once this was expanded as E plus E, still this last E is the rightmost E. So that rightmost E then got replaced with B. So this is that rightmost E will be replaced with B. Correct? So that's how you get term B and plus. Now this is the next rightmost element. Okay, this is the next rightmost element that you replaced it with A. So this E you will replace it with A, and then finally this E remains, which is the last rightmost element. That's the leftmost element, which will be replaced with A. So this E finally lastly gets replaced with A. So this is basically the parse tree for the rightmost derivation. Correct? Similarly, if you consider the leftmost derivation, okay, leftmost derivation, I start from E, I replace E with E plus E, then the next leftmost E, what I want is A into A, so this E I replace with E into E plus E. This being the leftmost, since I want A, E will be replaced with A, so this will be A into E plus E. This will be the next leftmost element, so that I want it as A, so I will replace E with A, and this is the last leftmost element. What I want is B, so I will replace that with B, so A into A plus B. Okay, so how will be the derivation tree? Derivation tree will be similar. I will start with E replaced with E plus E, then this will be the leftmost element that I will expand as E into E. Agreed? Then that E will be replaced with A, the leftmost element, then the next E will be replaced with A, and finally this E will be replaced with B. So this is a parse tree for leftmost derivation. The next topic that we are going to see is ambiguous grammar. A grammar G is said to be ambiguous if there exists at least one string in LG with more than one leftmost derivation or more than one rightmost derivation. In simple words, in any grammar, suppose for a particular string there are more than one possible leftmost derivations, or for a particular string there are more than one possible rightmost derivations, then definitely for a leftmost derivation or a rightmost derivation for that particular string, you are going to get more than one parse trees. Okay, so in general what we say is that for either leftmost derivation or for the rightmost derivation of a particular string in the grammar, if there are more than one parse tree is possible, then the grammar is ambiguous. Okay, or you can also say that if for a particular string in the grammar, if there are more than one leftmost derivations possible, or if there are more than one rightmost derivations possible, then also the grammar is said to be ambiguous. Now let us see how to determine whether the grammar is ambiguous using an example. In this particular question, we are supposed to prove that the grammar, the given grammar is ambiguous. Okay. Now S is the start symbol and S is the only non-terminal. There is the only non-terminal S. All the terminal is are ID plus and into. Now notice that S is the start symbol and the productions in the grammar given is S gives S plus S, S into S and ID, and we are supposed to see whether the grammar is ambiguous or no. Okay, so let's start. Now let us consider particular valid string, one particular valid string. Okay, let's consider this particular string identifier plus identifier into identifier. Okay, now let's try to find out leftmost derivation for this string. So I start from S, start symbol, and S is replaced with S plus S. Okay, further, since I want into here, okay, now I want identifier as the first symbol here, so S can be replaced with identifier, so that means S can be replaced with ID. So this is the leftmost element, I replace S with ID plus this S. Now this is the next leftmost element, so what I do, I expand it further because I want ID into ID, so I replace S with S into S. I replace S with S into S. So this will become ID plus S into S. So this is the next leftmost identifier. Okay, then I replace S with ID because I want an identifier there into S, and finally this S I replace with identifier ID so as to get the required string. Sorry, that last S also I replace with identifier ID. So this is how I get the required string. So I start again with S, but this time instead of replacing S with S plus S, I replace S with S into S. Okay, I replace S with S into S. Now this S, okay, I expand because what is required? It is S into S. So I've got ID into ID, but before this into there has to be an expression with plus sign. So I expand this S with S plus S. I expand this S with S plus S. So this S I replace it with S plus S. So I will get here S plus S into S. This is the leftmost S. So since I want an identifier there, S will be replaced with identifier plus S into S. This is the next leftmost element. So S will be replaced again with identifier. So ID plus ID into S. And this is the last S, finally getting replaced with identifier. So then I get ID plus ID into ID. As you can observe, for the same string ID plus ID into ID, there are two leftmost derivations which are possible. Okay, I have not tried rightmost derivations. You might even get more than one rightmost derivations. So so therefore possible parse trees are or leftmost derivation 1. The parse tree that you get is S. Okay, S was replaced with S plus S. Correct. then this S was replaced with identifier, so S was replaced with an identifier ID. Then this S was then expanded as S into S, so S is expanded further as S into S. Okay, then this S was replaced with identifier, so this S gets replaced with identifier ID, and finally the last S also gets replaced with identifier ID. So this is the pass tree for the first leftmost derivation. Now let us see whether another pass tree can be drawn. So for LMD leftmost derivation 2, the parse tree will be S first I replace with S into S, correct? S was first replaced with S into S. Now this S was expanded further as S plus S, so S is expanded further as S plus S, agreed? Then after expanding it to S plus S, the leftmost S was then converted to identifier ID. So leftmost S was converted to ID. Then this was the next leftmost element that was again converted to ID. So this S was then converted to ID. So you got ID plus ID into S, that is this term ID plus ID into S, and finally this S which was left over was converted to identifier ID. So the final S which is there was then converted to ID. So are we getting two parse trees? See, this is for the first leftmost derivation, this is one parse tree. For the second leftmost derivation, for the same string ID plus ID into ID, this is another parse tree. So we can say therefore, okay, as we are getting more than one parse trees for leftmost derivation, therefore the given grammar is ambiguous. Okay, now before we end this, I would like to tell you, see, I just went for leftmost derivation. It may so happen that when you consider rightmost derivation of this particular grammar, there also you will get two parse trees, but you need not show all four, two leftmost and two rightmost, you need not show. Even if for one particular derivation, mostly say for leftmost derivation, if you are able to show that there are two different LMDs possible and there are two different parse trees possible for that particular string, for those two LMDs, respective LMDs, if you are able to show this one thing, then you have already proved. So don't go for rightmost derivation and again try to show two more parse trees. But suppose if you consider, for example, that the leftmost derivations does not give you more than one parse trees, then you can go for RMD, but that case will never arise. Okay, so in very simple words, whenever they have asked you to prove that the grammar is ambiguous, what you do, you consider some valid string and try to find out whether there are more than one leftmost derivations. If yes, you draw the possible parse tree. Since there are more than one parse tree possible for the same string, for the same derivation, we say it is ambiguous. Some students instead of LMD can start with RMD, whichever works. Okay, so this is how you can prove that the grammar is ambiguous.